Every day, the Postal Service processes about 470 million pieces of mail. But now postal workers say the leaders at the top are shaking things up to save money, and they say that's causing delays in deliveries. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. That may be the motto of the United States Postal Service, but postal workers say new mandates from the top are keeping them from finishing their rounds. And customers are noticing.
Now it takes maybe like a couple of weeks to get something that used to take a day or two.
I usually pick up the mail the next day because I just don't know what time to go to the box.
Whatever's causing this problem, I have a real issue with.
Jim Gall says he first experienced mail delays in July. So one day he met his postal carrier at his mailbox to ask what was going on.
He said, well, I wasn't given any first-class mail to deliver today.
For this retiree from Rochester Hills, postal delays have real financial consequences.
It is very important to me. It's just not something that I'm taking for granted. I watch it and I monitor it very, very closely.
Gall's wife needs a medication that costs thousands of dollars. So each month, Gall must mail claim forms to get reimbursements.
I have one credit card that I use exclusively with a high limit for this. And this, I've seen it as high as $16,000, $17,000 outstanding. So it's imperative that I get reimbursed in times to avoid interest payments and being late.
Even during the coronavirus surge this spring, Gall says those reimbursements were taking about 6 days to receive. But the most recent one took 14 days to arrive. He says his other mailed prescription reimbursements have increased from 9 days in transit to 17 days.
That's very concerning.
What is the reason for the slowdown?
Well, it looks like, or it sounds like the reasoning for the slowdown is coming from the new PMG.
PMG means Postmaster General. Keith Combs is the president of the Detroit District Local of the American Postal Workers Union. Combs says the changes started when President Donald Trump appointed Louis DeJoy as Postmaster General in mid-June. Since then, DeJoy announced a major reorganization of the Postal Service in an effort to make it more profitable. Combs says that means no overtime for workers at the processing plants or branch offices and other changes he calls alarming.
It's always been a mandate that the postal employees get every mail that they receive out to the customer. So now the slowdowns are, some of the carriers are being told not to deliver that mail. It can go the next day.
Combs says he fears the slowdowns will prevent mail-in ballots from getting to election officials on time in November. He's also furious the Postal Service is planning to close Detroit's second busiest branch by the end of the month.
There should be no closures of post office and stations and branches in the time of a pandemic or in the time of the mail-in voting.
So here's the rebound rundown. The Postmaster General is reorganizing the Postal Service, which includes offering early retirements and an executive hiring freeze. Postal workers in Detroit say they've been told to leave mail behind, causing delays in delivery. Postal workers here also say they fear the slowdowns will hurt mail-in voting. As for Jim Gall, he just wants the slowdowns to stop.
We need to take the politics out of it. It represents everyone. This isn't one side or the other. This is for the American people.
Postal officials declined our request for an interview, but in a recent press release, the Postmaster General said about the new reorganization, quote, "This organizational change will capture operating efficiencies by providing clarity and economies of scale that will allow us to reduce our cost base and capture new revenue." Meanwhile, Senator Gary Peters has also launched an investigation into the slowdowns with the mail. We have a link to that on our website. Reporting in Grosse Pointe Farms, I'm Heather Catallo, 7 Action News.